What are circadian rhythms and what impact do they have on our physiology?
Yeah, so circadian rhythms are daily timetables by which almost every gene, every hormone, every brain chemical are programmed to rise and fall within 24 hours. So these programs enable uh, every cell, every organ to achieve that peak performance at specific time of the day, and also repair, reset, and rejuvenate every day so that they can be ready the next day. So the word circadian literally comes from means approximately 24 hours, and which means that everything in our body is programmed for this 24 hours rhythms. And circadian rhythms essentially serve three main purposes. One is to anticipate. So, for example, in anticipation of waking up, your body has to warm up. You have to start breathing a little bit faster. Your heart has to pump slightly faster so that when you wake up with the right time of the circadian phase or your timetable, then you feel more alert and ready to go and do stuff. And you can easily experiment with yourself, or everybody has experienced it. Like if you set an alarm clock to wake up 2 hours before you're supposed to wake up, you feel crappy because your circadian rhythm hasn't prepared your body. The second is reaction. So first is anticipation, second is reaction. So for example, in response to a meal in the morning, our body produces enough insulin so our blood glucose level doesn't go too high. Whereas late at night, our circadian rhythm is anticipating that we should not eat. So when we eat the same meal late at night, the body doesn't produce enough insulin, so blood glucose level goes super high. So this is a way by which our circadian rhythm modulates how we react to things. And meal is one thing. So similarly, in response to exercise, our response is very different between day and night. And then the third function of circadian rhythm is repair and rejuvenation. Just like I said, just like our brain repairs itself, rejuvenates, we strengthen our memory at nighttime. Similarly, every organ, every cell has to repair itself. And by doing so, we also rejuvenate. And for certain things, like for example, inflammation, if we are fighting disease, inflammation went up, it has to come down. Otherwise, we'll be chronically inflamed. And circadian rhythms help us to damp down what has been activated and to bring us back to normal. So these are the major functions. And as you can imagine now, almost every organ, every cell in our body needs a healthy circadian rhythm to be fully functional to let us live our peak performance.
So you mentioned we've got these circadian programs. What are the major influences that tune these programs to precisely the right timing so that our bodies are doing the right things at the right time?
So we all are born with a very strong circadian rhythm, and that means we have these very ancestral rhythms that are encoded in our DNA. And to adapt, because these rhythms are present because our planet revolves around its own axis, and there is a 24 hours day and night cycle. And with 24 hours day and night cycle, there is plenty of light and energy during daytime, and darkness and cold and more humidity at night. So since we evolved on this planet for the last 200,000 years, we are programmed to adapt to this daily cycle. At the same time, because the tilt of our planet and the elliptical path it takes around the sun, our day and night cycles are very different between summer and winter time. So that means our circadian rhythms has to adjust to this change in season. And these adjustments happens primarily due to light. So our rhythms are reset and adjusted to the first ray of sunlight if we are living in nature. And since during daytime we are programmed to eat because our ancestors went out for farming or hunting in the morning, our body circadian rhythms are also tuned to what time of the day we receive our first calorie. So this is how the system should work. But in the last 150 years, after the invention of electrical lighting, we could light up the evening, and now we have 24 hours light. And with electricity and with lighting came two other things, that is food production and food preservation, so we can eat any time of the day or night. And the third thing that happened was infrastructure development. Infrastructure is the method to move people, product, information, and waste from one place to another place with minimum human physical activity. So that means we also become sedentary, because being active during the day and being sleeping at night is also another strong modulator of circadian rhythm. So now we have constant light, I would say twilight, because we actually don't go outside. We stay indoor and exposed to light at night when there should be dark, and then less light during the day because our indoor lighting is not as bright as the light outside daylight. And then we have constant access to food. So we tend to eat mindlessly late into the night. And even in some people wake up in the middle of the night, and if they cannot go back to sleep, they just do eat. And then we don't have physical activity too much. So as a result, we all have broken circadian rhythm or disrupted circadian rhythm. And it's much more pronounced in people who do shift work, who switch between day and night shift. And nearly 20% of the population, working adults in industrialized countries do shift work. And then I would say there is another 20% who live the life of a shift worker. So for example, students, high school students, college students, they stay up till midnight to do their homework, and then they go to bed around 1 or 2 in the morning, and they sleep in till midday in the weekend. So they experience what we call social jet lag. And then we do have secondhand shift worker. The spouses of shift workers, they think that it's good to give company to their spouses who are doing this hard work. So they stay up late into the night or wake up too early before sunrise. And they also suffer from circadian disruption. So as a result, only in the last 30 to 40 years, due to this rapid industrialization and actually, we did not know the awesome power of circadian rhythm. So because of that ignorance, we all suffer from this circadian disruption.